mom, and before I moved out, I would go home and, she'd be making handmade pasta. She would cover her bed in just trays of gnocchi, cavatelli. Food was, just part of our lives. That's how I kind of got into it and really come to appreciate it. But they made everything, it was a lot simpler life, how they ate, how they cooked. We didn't have a lot of money, so, again, the southern part of it was probably more dominant for us. Even meats weren't prime meats. They were mostly, she used to make the braciole, she used to make everything that had to be braised, things that were a little tougher cuts. So, usually sometimes you put some chopped truffle on here, but President John would approve fresh truffle coming in. Still here. And it's he did approve foie gras for lunch, though. I think he swiped that.
Because he was eating it.
Yeah, see, he wasn't going to eat the truffles, see? So, and then again with the French, this is a very simple asparagus salad. But the other thing we used to do a lot, especially spinach salad. Everybody loves spinach salad. We did have a couple of circulators in the property. So all our eggs were pretty much sous vide. We would put them actually in saran wrap, and we'd wrap them all in saran wrap. Sometimes we'd actually leave them in the shells, depending on the complexity of the dish. So we'd just take the shells and let them cook in the circulator, and we crack them. Far more delicate process, but we put that egg on top of the spinach salad and went to the customer as soon as they cut it. All that yolk would just run all over, help make that dressing. A lot of times saran wrap it.
How long have you had it? We tried the whole week the other day. It's pretty slow.
We did about 140.
It was so high there.
A little higher.
Yeah.
We did it lower, but they took about 12, 18 minutes on average. And the interesting thing, with sous vide too, is if you want to study it, there's when I was in Portugal last year in Lisbon, I don't work with the U.S. team after 2008, but I'm actually coaching the senior team for Portugal, the national team. And they're young. No, they're actually very young.
Like seniors in high school.
Does she graduate? She's in the 25-month program. Extended. And internationally, they call them senior teams when you're a team representing your country. So I'm working with the Portuguese team. It was actually a great bunch of young Portuguese cooks. But one of the visits, they had the French scientist come over. Name escapes me, but he did a whole thing on sous vide. And his whole thing was too that what's happening in this country, even some parts of Spain, is people are just taking proteins and meats, putting them in that circulator, letting them cook. And he had a whole table chart, which I actually have, of what meat, how to cook it. And basically his whole philosophy was, especially from a food safety point of view, is even in a circulator, even as in an oven or anything else, food has to either start high to low or low to high. You just cannot take a chunk of meat, put it in that circulator at 140, let it stay there for a day or two, and have it cooked. Because number one, your proteins aren't developing, you're not coagulating some of the fat, you're not really doing anything to the meat. So his whole chart and his whole, which he studied and did us a lot of slides proving it, he would either start off very high to get it going, just as if you would a roast. Sometimes you get that prime rib in 450, get that fat going, then bring it back down. So he would start off high in the circulator, bring it back down, or he'd do the other way around. He would start off low and then slowly bring it up to get it cooked. So it's very interesting to learn from somebody who's a scientist who said, hey, here's what's going on, I want to get involved in this. So, and again, with this salad, we have the cool cut asparagus, and then we just take a different approach, and we take the two asparagus that have been deep fried. I do like the tempura version too. The tempura version works very well, it's nice and crispy. And then we have, instead of just the standard chopped tomato, we took these little grape tomatoes, and basically we poached them in olive oil, so we blanched them just really, really quick, just to get those skins off. And then they've actually sat in the oven for probably about an hour and a half at 175. And they've just got some olive oil, garlic, a little touch of sugar, and these are candied or olive oil tomatoes, as we would call them. Tomatoes to me are one of my favorite things to cook with. You can spend, a lot of time learning about tomatoes. They're such an interesting fruit or vegetable, and they're just really amazing when you candy them, when you home dry them. And even, I'm not talking about the sun-dried tomatoes you buy in a box, but actually sun-drying them yourself. But you can cook them in olive oil, poach them. You used to take the Roma tomatoes, toss them in brown sugar, vanilla, some olive oil, some orange peel, really toss them, put them on silt pads, and just dry them out in 150 oven overnight. I mean, they were like sweet candy, you know, so they're just so versatile. We usually actually had a dessert, which was, we actually did avocado mousse with candied tomatoes and a Barbarian cream. So, and, you know, didn't sell it because I know just to face people with me, but we put it on the brunch or the buffet because people didn't know what it was. So they would, oh, that's colorful, looks good. And the bottom was an avocado mousse. When they ate it, you know, the sweetness of the tomatoes, the candy, and you had that nice fat of the avocado, the richness of it. We'd season a little, just fold in a little creme fraiche. You know, it really was an incredible dish. So again, 2 classic simple salads with just 2 different versions with some just little twists. So, any questions? No questions. I didn't cover everything next. Well, I really, this campus is incredible. This is my first time here. I've only been to come 8 months. I didn't see St. Louis yet or Scottsdale, so I finally made it here. I've heard a lot about this campus, and I was told before I came I would really love it. You guys have a great energy. It's incredible staff, and I can see the passion in the students and from everything that's done here. And to me, it was an honor to serve such an incredible lunch, and off the record, best of the SBU I've had. Off record though. So publicly say that. And you guys don't even have the restaurants, that even more so. I mean, that was just an incredible meal. And again, when I look at Chef's meal too, it's all about simplicity. It's about a combination of a few different flavors that just all work, executing everything perfectly, and that's really what good food is about. So I'm glad I had an opportunity to share with you and talk, and I'm looking forward to come back again. It's really great business. So thank you for that. Let's get a hand here. And John, even though he didn't splurge for the truffle, he did splurge for a cookbook for everybody, so I will be doing a sign. So cookbook over truffle. That's a good trade-off.